Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I'm so glad you decided to join us today, and I have a very special guest, Jamie Keating from Columbus, Georgia, Epic Restaurant. And you know, Jamie, you've been with me over here before, and everybody just loved it. And I said, we got to have you back. So fall is in the air. We're so happy. Aren't you glad that it's just not burning up outside? And we've got fall recipes that you've put together for us that is going to introduce the month of October with a bang. So why don't you give us a little overview of what we're going to be doing today, and we'll get started.
Well, we're going to start off. Our first recipe is going to be a butternut squash soup. Luckily, I try to source whatever we possibly can local, and being near Columbus, Pope Farms has supplied me with most of my squashes. So,
and they're just beautiful, honestly.
And what we did was we started off by, I don't want to lose my shallots and garlic. We started off sauteing our shallots and garlic, just a little light bit of oil there. I like to use a canola oil, vegetable oil, or grapeseed oil. Don't need to put any expensive oils in there because you're not going to taste that true flavor.
That's right. And you know, when you were cutting that up prior to the show, those knife skills of yours are just amazing. So those are
they are getting a little rusty, but you know, we're going to keep working it. So chicken bouillon, a stock. If you like to keep it all vegetarian, you can go with a vegetarian bouillon. Later on, when we do blend it, you'll see we'll be able to adjust the viscosity on the liquid. So don't be afraid of adding the liquid.
Okay.
You try to add flavor whenever possible, not water. So a juice.
Really? Okay.
Vegetable stock would be great. Heavy whipping cream, just to finish there.
Gosh, and I'm already getting the aroma. It's just wonderful.
Now the big thing is the flavors and seasoning, and we're bringing out the fall flavors. And this is a tradition in our home for Thanksgiving even. And
to do a soup course.
Oh yeah, we do a soup course, and we're going to serve it just like you have there.
Okay.
So while I move over a pre-cooked version of that squash.
Gosh, look at that.
You see here now. Right now, it's you see where the squash is nice and tender, and you can pretty much cut it with the fork, definitely. And we'll add the seasonings in just a second.
Well, I'm going to get started on this because what are your plans with all of the
So that'll be the
insides?
vessel that will actually serve the soup in. And by you separating the seeds, and we get a lot of practice at Thanksgiving for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The seeds we could turn around and dehydrate them, fry them, season them,
Gosh,
have them as a garnish to the soup.
And this is just a lightly salted water?
Just lightly salted water.
And it's going to separate.
Exactly. And even if some of that membrane's in there, it's going to help you separate your seeds in just a little bit. We're going to add some light brown sugar, and you have a recipe for all of this.
Yes, all the recipes are at VeryVera.com, so you're definitely going to want to. I love the idea of adding this to my Thanksgiving menu too.
Cinnamon and nutmeg.
And this is just going to be just the perfect amount. It's like a cup size amount for serving with all the other foods that you're going to eat on Thanksgiving. That's a perfect way to do that.
We actually do courses. We do a little different. Mostly, tables are family style.
Right.
So the first course, we do the butternut squash soup in the acorn squash or any type of squash, and then we go into a salad, which we'll show you later. And then finally, we move into the turkey world. When we're seasoning, this is like kosher salt and a little white pepper. I recommend you season towards the end. We can always add a little bit more later on after we blend it. It's hard to take away at that point in time. And then, Vera, you can help me out with that blender there.
Absolutely.
And you want to bring it closer?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So I'm just going to start adding this in, and this is that Ninja blender that just blends about everything. This is going to be great. And you actually did a little in advance, right?
Exactly. So the viscosity of the soup for us right now is about this thickness. You can adjust it with a little more, a little less of the stock. So what I like to do is when we do blend it, is to blend it with a little bit of the juices, hold some back, and we can always add a little bit later if we don't like the thickness of the soup itself.
All right. Well, we are going to continue on this as we go into break, and when we come back, we're going to get started on the poached pears, right?
Beautiful.
Okay, come back with us. welcome back, and we are having the best time, Jamie. I just love all the aromas, and everything is just looking beautiful. And while we were away during the break, we finished the soup, got it in the blender, got it pureed and everything. And then that project that you had me on with the seeds and the butternut squash, the seeds are on a sheet pan in the oven toasting, and that squash, even though it's a beautiful vessel for the soup, you know, if I'm going to be eating that soup, I want to get a little bit of that meat that's in the squash, so that way it's cooked just enough to make it soft if you're using that spoon. So I can't wait to see how that finishes off at the end. So now we're on to poached pears.
Exactly. So our salad course for today is a wine poached pear, and we used Cabernet. And you can use some different red wines that are your favorites, the Zinfandel. I would not go through any great cost in the wine that you purchase here, because we're really using it for its flavor, but not really to drink it purely out of the glass. So Vera, if you would, we have 50% water to 50% wine. You've got your cinnamon sticks, and feel free to improvise with aromatics. Some bay leaves. You can use star anise to nutmeg whole. We have some vanilla bean that could be substitute with extract if need be. We put extract. A little bit more sugar. A little more sugar, and we want to make sure that sugar dissolves just a little bit when we stir. And then the pears themselves that we peeled. Bosc or a Bartlett pear is what we're going to use, and we're going to rest that into our poaching liquid. Okay. Oh, wow. And we can flip that as we go periodically. Obviously, if we put several pears in there, it'll make them rise. They'll float. So you can hold them down with a small china plate. Oh, cool. Just to hold the pears down into the liquid. This is kind of like dyeing eggs at Easter. It could just very well be that. You know. So it's about using your senses to know when the pear is complete and cooked. Yeah, because this one is just perfect. I mean, it's not too mushy. It's just perfect texture. And just like any other meats that we're cooking, it's about carryover time. So even after you take the pear off the stove in its liquid, it's going to continue to cook. So we have always that safety valve. Here we have a bowl of ice water ready to go that we can actually move the pot to if we felt like the pear just went a little too far. I would just do that. Correct. And as it rests, it'll rest in the ice. Come back and stir your pears around every so often. For storing the pears themselves, what's great is that after the liquid is fully cool, you can leave the pear's core intact the whole time until you're ready to use, which I'll show you in a second. But you leave that in the refrigerator for 2-3 weeks, no problem, in that chilled liquid. And that pear, the intensity of the color is going to continue to just take over. Because that was my question, was honestly, how in the world do you get them to be so vibrant? And this time of year, like I say, we're going into, Thanksgiving next month. This would be a great thing to add to your menu. So I'm just salads, pear tarts, just to snack around the house. With even a measuring spoon or a melon baller, which you have there, very perfect, and then just rip it right up the stem. It just comes right out. And he left the stem on, which I really love, just from a presentation standpoint. That just really looks great. Yeah, you can even come back around. We can fill this cavity with cheese. Blue cheese would be great. Blue cheese is wonderful. Here for this particular salad, I have some Beecher's cheddar, which is absolutely fantastic. It's from Maine. Gosh, Beecher's cheddar. Yeah, very tasty. And these pears and all your vegetables from the Pope Farms, it's just terrific. Today our salad's going to have a cranberry vinaigrette. So we're going to hit it with our vinaigrette last minute. Seasoning with salt and a little pepper. Great. And to finish off this salad, we'll actually have some sugared pecans, pickled red onions, and some crispy angel hair pasta. Makes for a neat little garnish. Yeah. That's great. Well, it's all about the presentation. And texture. So come back with us after the break, and the best part we've saved for last is this wonderful bread pudding that's made with waffles and Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh my goodness. So come back and join us in just a few minutes.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
This is my favorite part, Ask Vera, and I'm with my friend Jamie Keating, and Jamie is very involved in the culinary world here in Columbus. And Jamie, the setup for Ask Vera is to send in questions for, you know, etiquette or how to cook something, but I've had so many people want to know what's going on in the area that has to do with food. And I couldn't think of anybody better to answer that question than you. You know so much about it, and you've got things going on at the River Mill Center. So what's up?
Sure do, but you know, first thing is Columbus is popping in terms of, you know, food festivals, events, everything around that type of culture. At the River Mill, we just took on a production with Columbus Symphony with the Sherlock Holmes Dinner Theater group.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're doing Comic-Con there right now.
Okay.
Pretty neat.
Yes. Well, what's involved with that? I mean, is it like it's a dinner theater, correct?
Correct. So you make reservations online, just like you'd buy a ticket to a sporting event. Come with your date. You're asked by the theatrical group, who would like to be part of this show?
Oh, I do.
Exactly. And then you're given a script. And then from there, courses are served. And in between courses, we actually would have the acting piece. But I would not be acting, obviously.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, and you can find out more about it at
rivermilleventcenter.com.
All right. Well, in the meantime, send your questions to askvera@wrbl.com, and we'll get that answer for you. Welcome back, and Jamie, we've saved the best for last. I'm so excited. I mean, who in the world would not want to have bread pudding made with waffles and Krispy Kreme donuts?
I mean, it's breakfast at dinner time.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Plus there's eggs in our
I know
custard,
it.
you name it, so.
All right, so I'm whisking the egg yolks that are in this recipe, and you know, when I make things with egg yolks, I always save those egg whites because I love to have meringues, be able to make meringues at the last minute.
Dice me up that waffle and a half right there. Right,
okay.
What I have right here is I've got our heavy cream, our vanilla bean. You are whisking our egg yolks in sugar, and we're going to temper those egg yolks in sugar. And I'm just going to switch vessels here with you. So you
okay, absolutely.
And what I mean by that is just like if you were to get in a bathtub, we want to make sure that you test the water first. If we pour all this hot cream on here, we'd probably cook the eggs a little too fast. So we're tempering it, meaning we're just adding a little bit in at a time.
Gosh. Well, the whole point to this, I guess the fact of the matter is when you get Krispy Kreme donuts, there's never any left over. But if there are, this is the perfect recipe for those.
Yeah, this is one of these accident recipes. I had a wedding and we were passing Krispy Kreme donuts at the end of the event. And we only went through about half of them, so we had 10 dozen left over.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a breakfast that wasn't well attended as a catering event. So I turned around and said, you know, let's turn this into a bread pudding.
Perfect. Well, there you go. Don't waste anything.
So we're going to stir back and forth in the sauce pot, and we're just looking to actually coat the spoon. So we don't want to scrape the bottom because we'll end up making scrambled eggs in the bottom of the pan. And what Vera has here already, and I won't splash you, I promise, is straining out the sauce. We want to make sure we hold on to those vanilla beans. And we can actually just tap the side of the strainer.
Gosh.
And we take the vanilla beans back out. We're going to scrape out the insides and get some of that vanilla bean. And actually this sauce is going to do two things for us. A, it's going to create a sauce, and B, we're going to use it in the bread pudding.
Okay. Gosh.
So to chill, you just stir it back a little bit, back and forth, just a little bit, and you're good to go there.
Kind of chill that off.
Correct. And then let me squeeze in
Oh,
here.
there's just nothing like a cooked custard.
And then we're going to add some of this to our waffles. Just like such. You can check it as you stir around. You can add a little more if you feel like. Remember, right now it's going to feel dry, just like a turkey stuffing or dressing, as they say in the South. But you know, it's going to soak up some of that moisture. So maybe just a little dash, and we're good there. Now, as we have the leftover, we're going to use this to make our rum sauce. Now you got two options. You can take the Richland rum, heat it up on the stove, bring it up to a simmer. It might flame just a bit with the alcohol.
And this is Georgia, y'all. This is Georgia.
Yeah, Richland rum.
Richland
good
rum.
friends of ours, not far from Columbus, Georgia. And they also do an almost rum. So this actually has a little bit of that molassesy, sugar cane piece. There's no alcohol in this part.
Okay.
So we're actually going to use the almost rum in our sauce for this particular dish. Just to.
And do they sell that almost rum too?
They do in small, and I get them in large, big gallon jugs. And to finish off and get our bread pudding in the oven, we have prepared our cast iron.
Cute. Look at those. Love those.
And while you do that, I'm going to add my vanilla bean to my sauce. Vera, if you would go ahead and add equal portions of that bread pudding.
We want to fill this about 3/4 of the way full?
Yeah, about 3/4. It's not going to grow. There's like not much of a yeast product or anything of that nature to worry about. I'm going to stir it in our vanilla beans back into our sauce.
I'm going to load it up then.
I'd go for it.
I could almost eat this just like it is.
We prepared that by spraying with a little bit of the PAM or vegetable spray.
Right. And taking care of your
Beautiful.
cast iron is important.
Oven's already ready to go at 350 degrees.
All righty. So those look good?
Yep, it's our bread pudding ready to go in the oven here.
All righty. Well, we are going to get this in the oven, and when we come back from the break, the best part, the plating, the presentation, we're going to be putting the pearls and the earrings on the black dress, as we say in the cooking world. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and on the VeryVera Show, Jamie, you may not know this, but we love to theme out what the show is all about, and I said this show today was in epic proportion.
Well, thank you.
Does that work since your restaurant?
Well, you haven't tried anything just
I
yet.
know, so I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I mean, we're only as good as
We've
last
had
meal.
the best time today, and certainly fall is in the air and on the table as we get ready to present all of the recipes that we've made today. And for your information, they're on our website at veryvera.com, so check them out. So let's get started with soup.
Well,
Soup pours first.
Yeah, if I may, I'll just grab the butternut squash soup that's been warming there. And I'm going to make sure you have a little to try here first.
I'm going to have a little sample bowl.
We got to make sure.
Okay.
And let me just garnish, if I may, and we'll do the same thing in the larger
Now,
vessel.
what is that? What's
so
the
this is a
garnish?
cinnamon cream here, just to top it off. And then those wonderful seeds that you were scooping out earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Which segues perfect here. Look how
Look
beautiful
how
this
beautiful that
bowl
is.
was that Vera had scooped out for us there.
Oh, wow.
There's our soup.
That is just delicious.
Any last minute for your
and
guests?
remember now, he said that we needed to use this for Thanksgiving, so I know you don't want to change those sweet potatoes and green beans and all the stuff your family recognizes, but wouldn't a first course like that be just awesome? That is delicious. Love the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, so now we are on to the pear salad.
The pear salad, exactly. So this is going to do a little more of a family style look, and then I have our greens that we seasoned with our cranberry vinaigrette, which the recipes are there as well. And then we have the Beecher's cheddar that we were explaining. We have some
from Maine.
from
And I
Maine.
love that oblong plate for that.
you eat with your eyes. That's the one thing that I think about definitely first is, what's the presentation? Does it have textures? It's not, all smooth and soft.
Now, tell me again what you did to the onions.
So those are just pickled. So a basic pickling recipe, similar to how we did the pears, but more of a vinegar base to it.
Gosh.
And if you try one of those pears, let me know what you
Yes.
think.
How'd I do on coring them?
Excellent. Fantastic.
Oh,
Almost wonderful.
and this is still crisp.
And we're going to add some of the
Perfectly
dehydrated
good.
cranberries, a couple ribbons of cucumber, and really just take those pears to the level of having fun yourself, what you'd like to do with them. We taught cheese platters, all kinds of fun things of that nature. And then we have some crispy angel hair pasta.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Yeah, just a little one of those.
Okay, so now this is angel hair pasta that you've just put in the fryer.
Yeah, just a quick fry and seasoning right when it comes out.
Okay, so all you chef wannabes, this is something you can do in advance and keep it in a Ziploc bag or in a piece of Tupperware.
Somewhere it can't get broken. That's the most important thing.
Oh, hey. All right.
And then if you like nuts, or like you call them pecans. Yeah, okay. But we got some pecans, so we can keep adding to this as much as we like to.
I love that.
The rustic feel, it's not too fancy, but just has a lot of wonderful flavors.
Okay, so I'm going to move my soup out of the way, and these cast iron containers were just perfect for this.
Yeah, I thought it tied in nicely, and plus it separates pretty well here as well. And then now is the best part. You can add as much sauce as you'd like. Now in advance, what's great is you can have your bread puddings already complete and done.
Right.
And just pop them in the oven right when it's time for your guest.
And this is the rum that's non-alcoholic, right?
Correct.
This is the almost rum.
Almost rum.
So I can have as much of that as I want.
That's up to you. We can put as much as you'd like on there.
Okay, so I get to sample this, and
I'm going to try some as well.
Yeah.
I got to make sure. The Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Well, you know, I know for sure that people have waffles in their freezer because I gave them that tip last week. And I know that we're going to now have an even better excuse to go get some Krispy Kreme donuts. This time of year, that's just the perfect thing on a Sunday morning before you go to church. So we've had the greatest time today doing all of this. And, you know, Jamie, you're so talented in terms of coming up with these recipes and the presentation. You know, that kind of comes into play with me as my catering background. Just the way it looks is the beginning. But I want to thank you so much for being with me. And for all of you out there, please remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. I've got great taste and chef friends right here with Jamie Keating, but I want you to come back and join us again next weekend for another episode of the VeryVera Show. And you know what? I'm going to have one more bite of this.
I might join you, and
Oh
maybe bring
my goodness. So
the real
come back
ritual.
with us. We'll see you next time.